as a leader, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, for God's sakes, you need to become comfortable with the two-letter word called no. And you need to be able to say it. It needs to be able to roll off your lips. You need to be able to be courageous with it.
It's you. You are the cap. You are the ceiling because you're not letting anybody be better or different. And when you care most about the team and or the product, then where you stack rank doesn't matter, because it's how do I build the best possible team to go attack this industry segment, market, whatever it is, and just go crush things.
Entry music. Da, 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 da. It's the Bob and Josh show.
One of my least favorite things as a parent or uncle watching youth sports is when a coach says, run faster, throw harder, do something better. And that's the extent of the help they give the kid. And the kids are already doing their best, right? They're giving it everything they can. You think they don't want to run faster, throw harder? I guarantee you they do. And so many articles, podcasts, videos that are out there do that. Bob and I don't do that. And today is especially a day where we're not going to do that. We have hardcore things that you can do, or maybe you shouldn't be doing, and we'll coach you up on that so that you can become the leader you want to be, that your team needs, that's going to take you guys to whatever the promised land looks like.
That your daddy and your mama wanted you to be. They envisioned it in you when you were born. They were like, what a leader. We're going to help you achieve that vision.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know where that came from.
I don't know what I started. It's partially my fault. Okay, so this was inspired by my dear friend, Bob Galen, who is a firm believer in the Harvard Business Review. And he sent me
not a believer,
article.
but a reader.
A subscriber. Yeah.
HBR rules. HBR rules.
Yeah, you reference it a lot. Like it's a...
Over the years, I probably subscribed to this. Yeah. I subscribed to this in Connecticut.
Yeah.
At least for 10 years, maybe close to 10 years, right? Up there. So no, not that, but we moved down here in 96, so mid 85. So I've probably been a subscriber since 85.
Like 40 years. Holy crap.
Yeah. Is that what that is? That is what that, holy crap. That is what it is.
They have you up on their wall of our best subscriber ever. Exactly. This guy for 40 years.
And how much money we've sucked from this guy over the years.
Oh gosh!
I should have a little plaque in the Harvard.
You should. You better.
In Harvard Square.
Yeah. So to anybody that's listening to this, I know there's somebody out there that works at Harvard Business Review. We need a Bob plaque for 40 years.
Come on,
of
throw
service.
me a bone.
Yeah, exactly.
And I haven't skipped it. HBR, you go look back. I've been an ongoing subscriber. And literally, it's been over $100 a year. So what is that?
4,000.
Yeah, at least that. It's more than that now. So, all right.
And so the article, Bob, I'm going to let you intro the article since this was your thing.
Well, it's entitled Metacasters, and we'll get you a link to it. Mm-hmm. And we're not sure if you have to be a member or not. I don't think you have to be. I think Josh just had technical difficulties when he clicked on the link. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I called it out. I called it out, Josh. Mm-hmm. But I don't think you have to. But it's called The Hidden Beliefs That Hold Leaders Back. It's been published in a recent, November, December HBR. And it has 7 beliefs that hold leaders back. And the premise for Josh and I is pick 1 or 2, pick 3, and you can combine them. And we're going to do our bouncing back discussions. If you've been a listener, we pick 5 sometimes, etc. So it's a little bit of a shift on that. And we're going to discuss our reactions to these impediments to leadership. And you know what? I'm going to, because I'm such a damn nice guy, I'm going to let Josh go first.
Okay, cool. Good. Well, here we go. My first one, and I actually just talked to a friend about this the other day. So it is front and center in this giant cranium, which means a lot.
Yeah.
If I can do it, so can you. So that is, as a leader, I believe that if I can do it, so can you. And I remember the moment as a leader, probably 8 or 9 years ago, when I recognized this. And the way I basically, I expected people to operate the way I did. I expected them to like be all in on everything that we were doing. And as a developer, like I was hiring developers that like coding was like part of their passion, and that's who they were. And they had side projects and they were doing all this stuff. And it was just like it was in their being, because that's how I was, and that's how I succeeded. So I thought like every one of my, at that point, like 70 people that were a part of my org had to operate like that. And then I remember a one-on-one, and it was this fantastic member of our team, Laura, and we were talking about the hiring process, and I was getting her in on that. And she said, you know what, Josh, like I'm not wired like that. Like I don't, when I go home, I don't want to think about coding. Like that's not who I am. And I like fell out of my seat. So I'm like, wait, how can you be this good and not work like that? And so that was an eye opener. Like, wait a minute, you don't have to do it like Josh thinks it can or should be done, and you can be successful and passionate and a great member of the team without being wired just like Josh. And so that helped me become a better leader and helped me become a more diverse hirer and understand the value of that. And that was one of those things where like that door really got kicked up. Like, oh, wait a minute. Like I've been thinking about this all wrong, you dummy. So whether it's, if you could actually do a thing, or whether they do it the same way, that is one of those things, and something that I've just continually learned, and sometimes the hard way, is that as a leader or a founder, whatever it is going to be exceptionally rare, potentially never, that somebody is as passionate about achieving the goal as you are. And you have to be okay with that. You have to get comfortable with that and accept that, and then enable people in those roles. Okay, so that was the first one. Bob, I'm done. Please weigh in and or go to the next one.
That was one of mine. And I combined two, that one plus another one.
Okay.
And what I was thinking of is, stupid, you need to be more humble. You need to think less of yourself, or less about yourself, and more about other people. It's not, another comment in my brain was, and it's not about you, Bob Galen. So the two that I had is, I know I'm right, and if I can do it, so can you. And there's me in there, or I in there. But it's very early in my career. It was really important for me as a leader to be right, Josh. It was, I can't even, I'm having trouble saying it because it embarrasses me. And it's not about, it's not about organizational right. It's not about customer right. It's about Bob. It's about, in my mind, I'm right. I know what the right answer is. Or this notion that I would, like Josh was talking about, I would broadcast me to other people, right? It would be like I'd emanate. God, how obnoxious is this? It's terrible. But I wouldn't. But in my mind, I'd be like, coders. They needed to design like me. They needed to code like me. They needed to think like me. And if they didn't, and if I couldn't do something, and I would almost project my failures or my flaws onto other people. Like the ideal model was the Bob Galen model. Thank God we were just talking earlier, like I started reading HBR in the mid 80s. So it's like 40 years ago, very early. And it wasn't related to HBR. I don't think HBR changed me. I think I probably gave myself a slap in the mirror a couple times in the mornings and just started slapping myself silly in self-awareness, and realizing how self-centered I was, and how stupid it was. And I started to see, and again, a part of it was starting to see, like Josh, the young engineer he was talking about. I started to see other people who weren't like me, but they were incredibly successful and they were valuable to me. And I was like, they're not like me, but they rock. and we wouldn't be successful without them. So there's an anomaly there. What's going on? They're not like me, but they're better than. And that's the other part of it is they're better than me. Like hiring. There's that notion, that old notion, hiring people that are better than you. And it's not about you. It's about continuously raising the bar. I think you have the humility or the self-awareness that you don't make it about you. You make it about building a great team. You make it about building a great organization, and so you abstract yourself from that. But that's my two, Josh. Any reactions to what I said?
Yeah, you hit it at the end, but it really is, what's more important, you or the team? And
Yeah.
and if you're more important, then you're not going to hire people that are smarter than you. And so you've immediately set a cap on what your product organization can become. And guess what? It's you. You are the cap. You are the ceiling, because you're not letting anybody be better or different. And when you care most about the team and or the product, then where you stack rank doesn't matter, because it's, how do I build the best possible team to go attack this industry segment, market, whatever it is, and just go crush things. And when you do that, then you're just like acquiring amazing people over and over and just like getting out of the way, basically. So yeah.
Now go ahead, Josh.
I just say, like Bob, I've been there, I've done that, and some of you listening, watching to this may be right smack in the middle of that situation where Bob and I are, and hopefully this is that, Bob talked about slapping himself in the mirror. Hopefully this is a little slap that we can give you, like boom, and you wake up.
I want to add something though, Josh, and I do think I want to challenge everyone who's listening. I do think that we do this, but we don't admit it to ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. And so I really want you to look in the mirror. Now I'm being, I was just joking around, but I'm being serious. Look in the mirror, have a quiet time, and ask yourself, be honest with yourself. Don't put up that facade. Oh, of course not. I'm not. You put on the facade, the humble Bob facade, but behind the humble Josh facade, but behind the facade, it's all about me, 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 me. Right. And you're not evil. You're not evil. Just look in the mirror and say, you know what? Am I saying it? But really, it's not the truth. And then start shifting it. That's what I was doing. I wasn't projecting it in my mind out. I didn't, I wasn't malicious, but it was really, I was being me-centric.
Yeah.
And it was really screwing things up. And you have to see it in yourself in order to change it.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying briefly, be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
You, be honest with yourself. There's another one here, Josh. I'm gonna group it in here, and I didn't do it. It's called "I Can't Make a Mistake,"
okay,
and I think the three of those go together, and it's the belief that your performance must be flawless, which encourages unhealthy perfectionism, indecision, and risk avoidance. Perfectionism is something for me. I was, and I have a little perfectionist guy on my shoulder to this day that tries to talk me into being perfect all the time and yelling at me when I'm not perfect or something, and so if you can't allow yourself to make a mistake, you project these things onto your teams, so then you're going to really berate, well, how could you make that mistake? Well, let's be honest, we've all made mistakes, and there is no perfect leaders. I mean, clearly look at the government right now. No, I'm just kidding. No, but there's the awareness that I'm not perfect, and there's the behavior. It's like giving the grace outward. So I would like to add that to the trifecta that we're talking about.
Okay.
What do you think?
Sounds good.
Do you think that's a mistake, Josh?
All right, and moving on. I'm going to go to
Metacasters. If you've listened to some episodes, I'm in a little bit of a hairy mood this morning.
It has been a morning.
I don't know what it is. I can't help it.
Yeah.
And my buddy is rolling with it. He's giving me grace.
A choice?
No, I guess not.
Okay, so
do you have another one?
Well, I've got a 2-for-1. So this is my last. I'm going to get. You know what? Forget labeled. As the product guy here, this is where I spend a lot of my time. It's a 2-for-1. I need it done now,
Ooh.
paired with I can't say no. So those two usually coexist. Of one of the biggest lessons that I try and teach executives building products is that no doesn't mean never. No just means not now. It doesn't mean we're never going to do that. It just means we have to choose what we're doing now. And by choosing what we're doing now, we have to inherently choose what we're doing not now. And then we can decide what's next, and then what's next, and what's next, and what's next. And so that for some reason, that's a difficult lesson for folks to learn and understand when building products, is that you do have to think relatively single-threaded, whether it's single-threaded for a team or single-threaded for your product, of like, we can do one thing at a time, because it's going to be important for us to get things actually done, as opposed to working on, 7 things at once and then never actually getting things done. There's epidemic, not a pandemic. There's an epidemic of like teams working on too much. Bob and I have talked about teams that we've coached where there are, say there's 50 people in a team and there's 60 projects going on at once. Just like stop for a second. Like, how does that make sense? But so many people do that. So, okay, Bob, like I know you have some thoughts and passions there.
Well, no, I can't say no is my third one. So I'm again, partnering up with yours. I'm going to take it to, as leaders, you need to practice saying no. Like practice saying no in the mirror, Metacasters. And I'm not just, even if it's not a no, as a leader, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, for God's sakes, you need to become comfortable with the 2-letter word called no, N-O. You need to be able to say it. It needs to be able to roll off your lips. You need to be able to be courageous with it. And I'll tell you what, I don't think a lot of people say no. I mean, too few people even say it, are comfortable with it. Years ago, Josh, I went to, and I stole this, I was teaching Agile Project Management. I think I knew you around this time, but I was teaching like a PO, a product owner class, and like an Agile Project Management class. This was a long time ago. And I based part of the exercise on a Ken Schwaber exercise that he had in my CSM class. So I got my CSM, my Certified Scrum Master, in 2004. So this is quite a bit ago. And he ran this class, and he tried to put this simulation together, like a project simulation. And it was how to form a team and how to deliver something. And he set it up. The real point was not the project. The real point was not the strategy. He was trying to define a subtle death march, and he wanted people to say no. And the test was, one of the requirements, he didn't fail anyone for their cert, but he was like, as a Scrum Master, you need to be able to say no. So why don't we practice that? And it's a no under, like when every ounce of your being says, we can do this. It's just a challenge. It's not a death march. It's a challenge, right? And you're judging that. And I started using this exercise in my classes, and I kept data. How many no's did I get? And I think out of 750 teams, I mean, I did this for a while. I got like 13 no's, and like only 3 of them were like firm no's. There was like 10 conditional no's. Like if you gave me an offshore team of 100 people, we could deliver this in 2 hours. And I'm like, what are you saying? Yeah, it's a death march. Why can't you say? And hubris comes into play. A lot of times it's like our ego comes into play. So it's fear is a factor, but it's not just the leaders that are making us, I can't say no. It's not just them. You're doing it. What we discovered is people do it to themselves. They're like, well, we could do that. It's hubris. It's your ego. So saying no, that's a long way. I think as humans, we're not wired really well to say no, particularly in professional context. Take that up at leadership. Leaders are not wired really well to say no. Guess what? You gotta get comfortable with that word. So my advice would be, even if it's a yes or a semi-yes, Hey, what the hell? Say no to something. Do Metacasters, do it freaking today. Say no. And I'm not talking about food. I'm not
No.
talking about your diet. I'm talking about a business related something where there's a little bit of risk on the table. Say no to it. Just get it. Get yourself puffed up. Josh, any reactions to what I said?
So I want everybody to just flip the way you think about no. When you're saying no as a leader, you're doing a good thing. But for some reason, it feels bad. What are you doing that's good? You are providing focus. You are providing clarity.
Yeah.
You are allowing your team to run fast and clear. And that you want that, right? But to do that, you're going to have to say no. So don't think of no, oh, I'm doing a bad thing when I say no.
Nah.
You're doing a good thing when you say no because you let your people clearly understand this is number one. Everything over here, yes, that's important. We'll get to it, but not until this is done. So please, as a leader, when you say no, be proud. Don't be sad. You don't say it with your chest. Be like, no, we're not doing that. We're doing this. Because whenever you say no to one thing, it means you're saying yes to another. And like, yes, this is a Bobism, a full-throated yes. Like, yes, that's the thing that we're doing. And that clarity helps your team be more effective. It helps them win. It helps them run with confidence. And that's a gift you're giving to them by saying no. Please, I beg of you.
And it's not just that you're giving them clarity. I mean, yes, to what Josh is saying, but you're also role modeling it. Now you're empowering your team to not roll over. I don't want yes people on my team.
Right.
If they don't believe something, say no. If it's the wrong design, that'll work. And everyone in the room but me thinks, I don't want that. No one wants that, right? Yes, you're doing it. You're saying no yourself, and you're making that clarity in the decision. But my point is, you're also empowering everyone. You're role modeling. You're a role model as a leader, and so all of these things that we're talking about today, they're leadership impediments that you perceive, and you need to be able to jump over them. But the other factor is now you're empowering your folks, like the ego thing. If you're being egoless, your teams will see that. Oh, it's not about Bob. It's about the solutions. It's about the best ideas. Why don't we listen to everyone? Why don't we encourage everyone to get in the game instead of just having our lead architect be the one voice that we're all listening to, etc.? Josh, why don't you go ahead.
Well, I have a story. I have a cautionary tale. As someone that has been down this path before, I had what I believe was a great team. And they were doing fantastic work, but it was uncomfortable because as we were planning and executing our sprints, we hit every sprint like 100%. It just didn't feel right, so I started to get worried that people were uncomfortable with failing. So I launched into this whole, very similar to what we're talking about. And they're like, it's okay to fail. I showed them this Mythbusters video about failure is always an option and the value of failing and using that to learn and grow. And so we went from 0 failures to 100 failures. And the team, they were doing exactly what I asked them to do. They were celebrating failure. So we failed and failed and failed. And like, Josh, we're doing what you asked us to do. We're failing. Look at this. This is amazing, right? We failed. And we were like, it was a rough month. Like we failed. And so I was like, I had to, I understood what I'd done. I was like, okay, cool. You guys are doing exactly what I asked for. My bad. Winning is important. We need to be comfortable with stretching and failing and stumbling and picking ourselves up and doing all that stuff. So make sure that it's not like, hey, I'm going to say no to everything and then walk away. Like it's a line you're going to have to navigate and walk and find the right path, because it's, teams will respond to exactly what you're asking for. Been there, done that.
I guess I'm going to I'm all over what Josh is saying, Metacasters, but also remember that story I told. There's tendencies in teams. There's tendencies to say yes over no. There's tendencies to not take care of yourself, right? To extend your not have self-care, whatever the tendencies are in your teams. So as a leader, you want to be careful that you don't go totally in the opposite direction. But if a team is stuck, sometimes you have to like over lean into something in order to make the point. And so you're over yesing or you're over knowing for just a bit.
Yeah.
In order to unwire that tendency in yourself or in your team. But right, there is no like right or wrong answer. But your lineage is important. And that's what this whole article is about. These are sort of beliefs there's no metric. It's be aware of them.
Yeah.
Look in the mirror and say, do I need to make adjustments around this belief?
Well, and to land that, the story I just said, that I just walked everybody through, in that story, I had to say no twice. I had to say, no, we are fooling ourselves by getting it right every time. Like, this can't be right. So then we over-rotated and we were wrong a lot. Like, no, that's not right either.
Exactly.
So, but again, without that, no, this isn't working. No, we need to get better. No, that's not good enough. We eventually became the team in the organization that I believed that we could be, but it was only through those times where I had to say, like, no, we're going to focus on this. No, we're going to focus on this now. And the team responded. And then understanding how that team responds is just something that is a lesson learned. So I did my 3. Bob, did you do your 3?
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done. I have a final suggestion for Metacasters. Maybe we start ending episodes with this. I have a book that I'd like to recommend that everyone read. It's an old book, as most of the books. No, I read modern stuff, but there's an old book by Edward Yourden, Yourden or O-N. It's called Death March.
Oh, yeah.
It was published around 87-ish, maybe, in the 80s, I think. Maybe he had a second edition. You would think, and a Death March, that was a term for a project. I'll leave it up to you. I'm not gonna burst it. It's a term for a project that keeps everyone on their toes. But I think it's still relevant to this day because I still think that organizations are, and the term isn't used much nowadays. And agile has sort of been this flowery, like we're agile now. But I still think under the covers, there's this death marchitis there. So if you're a leader and you're running projects and you're not doing some of the things we talked about, you may want to maybe think about reading Death March. And you might be intrigued by it.
I'm on the spot to get a parallel book recommendation. Let's see. The Mythical Man Month is
Josh. Joshua Q. Anderson.
Yeah, you like that.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
That was something that was first introduced to young Josh way back in the late 90s in my computer science studies at the wonderful University of Cincinnati. And I read it and I was like, oh, holy crap, people work like this? And then, so that's something that's always lived in the back of my mind. So it helps people understand that the executive math, the spreadsheet of like person months, where, we have 9 months of work. If we get 9 people, we can get it done in 1 month. Like, no, it doesn't really work like that. So those are 2 great books.
I think we nailed it. Yeah, man, you pulled that out. I'm with you, my friend.
Yeah.
That showed your age. Now, Joshua, that did show your age a little
I'm
bit.
well aware.
All right.
Well aware.
All right. I think we nailed this one.
Yeah.
Metacasters, we love your feedback. Josh is going to put a link to the article in the post so you can read the article. It's not too long. But from beautiful downtown Cary, North Carolina.
And from beautiful downtown Fuquay, Verena, North Carolina.
I'm Bob, the Death March King Galen.
And I'm Josh, the Death March sidekick Anderson. I don't know.
Shake
and bake.
Take care, y'all.